Hello, my name is Angela Werner, and I have been placed in charge of overseeing and selecting the visuals for your billboards by my organization, which was hired to work on your campaign to improve neighborhood safety. Upon reviewing the currently used image, I determined that it is not the best fit for your campaign because it does not translate into the two cultural environments who are viewing it. I have selected two new images that contain culturally familiar elements for suburban and urban neighborhoods that when used will lead to cognitive response through the memories and experiences of your targeted audience, which will in turn lead to their emotional engagement and willingness to join your campaign for neighborhood safety. The key to building relationship with your audience is tapping into the right emotions. According to visual media expert Robin Landa, establishing the right emotional connection with people creates deep relationships, builds brand community, and fosters loyalty. Determining how to connect to a targeted audience also means understanding their culture or community. So, with that being said, with what might connect to an audience in a suburban neighborhood might not connect to an audience in an urban neighborhood. This is why I have chosen two new images that display culturally familiar elements to a suburban neighborhood and other elements familiar to residents in an urban neighborhood. In the image selected for the suburban neighborhood, we can see familiar elements to their culture that includes foliage such as lawns, trees, and shrubs, a housing community with uniformed houses that include driveways to park their vehicles, leaving the streets clear and free of excess cars for children to play. In the image selected for the urban neighborhood, culturally familiar elements include large and tall buildings, streets filled with traffic, businesses, and an apartment complex where the individuals of the neighborhood live, a lack of foliage, and a security fence around the concrete park to keep kids from running into the busy street. As you can see, the cultural elements differ for each neighborhood. While a suburban neighborhood contains individual homes and elements for those families like a yard to play in, an urban neighborhood contains an apartment complex for living and playgrounds where children are able to play safely. In both images, children are used to express whose safety in the neighborhood is most likely of the highest concern. In urban neighborhoods, traffic is of the highest concern while children are playing. In contrast, the safety of their children while playing outside and around the neighborhood with their friends is of the highest concern in the suburban neighborhood. To communicate the campaign message of neighborhood safety, these images were chosen as they display safety elements such as children wearing helmets and knee guards and an enclosed park without easy access to the streets. Elements such as empty streets, yards to play in, and kids on bikes and rollerblades gathering together in the neighborhood to play creates a cognitive response of suburban residents whose memories and experiences of growing up and living in similar neighborhoods include these same elements. Memories and experiences such as the feeling of safety in their own neighborhood growing up leads viewers to have an emotional response that is in favor of the improvements to their community's safety, leading them to endorse the campaign. Elements such as the kids playing in the concrete park, security fence, nearby traffic, creates cognitive response of urban residents whose memories and experiences of growing up and living in a similar neighborhood excludes these elements of security around the park. Memories and experiences that includes times where viewers felt unsafe while playing in parks and lacked added security from nearby traffic leads viewers to have an emotional response that makes them want to help further improve the safety of children in their neighborhood, getting residents to support the law enforcement campaign. Therefore, you can see that by using an image that includes culturally familiar and cognitive visual elements seen in an urban culture when campaigning in their neighborhood is important in invoking emotional engagement with that community because, as visual expert Robin Landa states, ads that touch us emotionally, promising greater self-esteem, a virtuous feeling, or any emotional benefit can perhaps have greater impacts than the previously used image depicting a suburban neighborhood. While the suburban neighborhood residents' emotional engagement stems from the virtuous benefits that they would receive because they feel their neighborhoods are already safe, the urban residents' emotional engagement comes from the benefits they would receive from law enforcement who promises to improve their neighborhoods. This further supports the need for a new billboard image with this community. The use of semiotic codes in an advertisement is essential for communicating the message you want the viewers to perceive. Through the use of metonymic codes, a viewer is able to make an association or form assumptions on the meaning behind the imagery that they are viewing. The use of metonymic signs are used in both images. In the suburban photo, the children are either riding a bike or on rollerblades, and each kid has on a helmet and various other safety gear. The depiction of children wearing safety gear while playing in a neighborhood then leads the viewer to make the assumption that the ad is about neighborhood safety. The same is seen in the urban image where children are playing in a park which has a security wall blocking them from traffic in a city setting. All of these metonymic signs form the metonymic code for urban neighborhood safety with the viewer. In reviewing the original ad chosen for the campaign to improve neighborhood safety, it is clear that a new image is needed for the urban setting. Since the residents live in an entirely different environment, their emotional responses to visual elements like cultural familiarity and cognitive visual elements are also different based on their cultural codes. In selecting the new images, the law enforcement agency can expect to capture the viewer's attention and gain their endorsement based on the successfully integrated metonymic visuals used.